Welcome to game number 5 between WhiteRa and Liquid TLO. The score right now is 3-1 in TLO's favor, and every game that WhiteRa has built a Stargate, he has lost. Which means he's lost 3 times, and those 3 times he built a Stargate. The game he won, TLO went mutas on Cloud Kingdom. Again, a little bit of an odd call. Got scouted by a warp prism full of zealots, possibly one of the more humiliating things to be scouted by, because it may sound good. Yes, I killed a warp prism, but a bunch of zealots actually stopped the mutas because they told the forces exactly what was going on, allowing WhiteRa to prepare for it. Normally, zealots and warp prisms should have no effect on mutas. They can't do damage to them, but the fact that WhiteRa found out before the mutas got into his base is what allowed him to easily defend that on Cloud Kingdom. So, didn't go a Stargate that game, won. All the other games, he lost when he opened up Stargates. Of course, game number 2 was a little bit silly, and TLO doing a one-base play in the Stargate was the correct call. However, no one would see TLO sending his drones through a Nidus Worm to kill off his opponent's economy line that was trying to defend against roaches. That was just such a cool, short game, possibly one of the coolest games that I don't think even lasted 10 minutes. So we'll see what WhiteRa ends up doing this game. And this map can be pretty hard for Zerg, I think. At least I have trouble on this map as Zerg because it's unique from all the other maps in the sense that it is really hard to get up a third base. WhiteRa is going to do a 9-probe scout and get a scout TLO last. And that does go in TLO's favor. I think TLO may be able to get up a hatch. Maybe not. Maybe on Tal'Darim the 9-probe scout sees it even if he scouts it last. But if the probe got in TLO's base as the first call, it would be pretty bad for TLO, because I'm not sure if I said it, but this map, it is really hard to take a third base. And yeah, I did say it. I said they were pretty far away. This one Overlord is going here. It wouldn't surprise me for the Overlord to stop right here, because if TLO does take a third base, this is the area he's got to see if a pylon is going on the high ground. Pylon goes on the high ground, that means a whooping will come and the third base is dead. So it wouldn't surprise me to see that Overlord stop. The probe does make it, and TLO wants to take that third base, the natural. Probe's going to come in, but there's already Lings out, so going to get this uncontested. And this is one of those maps where if you can get away with it, building a pylon and a cannon is a really good idea, I think. In Control is the one that said it's not really cost-effective to deal with the cannon as a Zerg early on. So when you do that, you're pretty darn effective. You force the Zerg, if he wants to take an early second base, to go all the way over here, which, again, you got this high ground where you can do stuff with. So this is one of those few maps where I would actually say, if you scout them first, may want to build a pylon, get a cannon up. Just may want to try that out. Can really throw some Zergs out of sync, because then they panic like, okay, what do? Let's take a base here. Don't check the top because they're already a little flustered. Get a pylon, get a cannon, and then this gets canceled. Like, oh my god, it's game over. I never got a natural up. Both attempts failed. WhiteRa going to be doing double gases relatively, not relatively early. This is normalish time. Again, in one of the games, he didn't get the second gas until after the Cybernexico was done. Can't really tell what WhiteRa is doing. It may be a Blink build. Blink is very good on Tal'Darim Altar, just because you got a lot of these little things where you can blink around. TLO going to be waiting to mine, and that's a small mistake. Having the drones go to this base with the minerals, that is a relatively big mistake. It's really easy to bring them back home, because if you click on the patch, hit return cargo, then your drones that have cargo will return it, and they'll still go to this mineral patch. So there's no real excuse to having drones transfer with minerals at hand. Just because when you click on the mineral patch, hit the key to return cargo, and boom, you got it. WhiteRa going to be building a forward pylon over at the third base of TLO. TLO looks like he's going to be taking the rocks out and using this as a third base. The safe route, also the latest to get a third base at. Drone is waiting, so I believe he really wants to take the drone, even clawing his way over at those rocks. And a Zealot coming from WhiteRa sees those Lings and probably going to decide he doesn't want any of that. Additionally, sees the extra Queen. So the Zealot instead just going to hold this one watchtower. Has the one sentry right here, and can we see a Stargate again? I'm not sure exactly what he's doing with this gas. Not getting any +1. Has 270 gas in bank. Just built the sentry. And now is getting +1 attack. So, okay. Doesn't look like a Stargate, but he did do +1 attack before the last game. and went double Stargate. So we'll see exactly what WhiteRa does. As I said, very hard to predict either of these players, especially coming from me, who I generally predict players pretty well. These players just have non-standard builds. Again, as I said before, they don't really obey the meta. They don't play standard, so it's really hard to predict how these games are going to be going. TLO does go up on 3 gases, is getting a roach one, does have his 3rd hatch before lair, so it's looking relatively normal. We'll see what TLO ends up doing. Again, that lair could finish. He could go for the maxed out roaches. He could go for the infestors again, or he could go for another spire. The reason why he could go maxed out roaches, that's not out of the cards, in my mind, is because, well, again, he started the lair when he had 200 gas. I don't like that, but he started the lair before speed, and that's one of the things I keep in mind. If you do that, you may want to plan on getting a lot of roaches out. TLO is getting 2 spore crawlers right now. Does he know about that gas timing? Knows about that 1 gas, and that's about it. So TLO may just get spore crawlers up around this time just to be safe. I don't know why else he's getting the spore crawl up. There's nothing that TLO sees. Maybe he went up to the ramp and saw not many sentries, and I missed that. But there are 3 sentries out. There's really nothing to indicate Stargate play right now, from my perspective. Maybe TLO knows something I don't. And also, WhiteRa has gone Stargate. This is game number 5? Yeah. 3 out of the 4 games. He's only gone not Stargate once, and wow, that was a lot tougher than I thought. But as you do cast, your mind does go away. TLO going on 4 gases relatively quickly. And his gas is going to be getting up there. We'll see what he builds. Not getting Infestation Pit yet. Going to be getting roaches out, getting upgrades. But even with his upgrades and roaches, and that speed upgrade and burrow, his gas is getting high. So maybe a Nidus Worm, I'm thinking. We'll see. Going to be taking another gas. They're going up a 5 and 6. Do have Ling's going to be taking out this 1 pylon. The 3rd Nexus is up for WhiteRa, going to be going up, so he is going on 3 bases. Still doesn't have that big of a ground force. A handful of Stalkers, handful of Sentries, and a handful of Zealots. TLO getting his roaches in position. Nice force builds. Those roaches don't have speed yet. A lot of them are getting picked off. Those Zealots just waiting right here, trying to do a timing attack against TLO's 4th base, but TLO not taking a 4th yet. Going to be going up on Spire and Infestation, but at the same time. And again, this is a little bit of an odd call. Maybe he sees the Immortals out, so he's like, okay, I gotta have the Spire up so I can get Corruptors. But generally when you go to Spire, you want all the gas possible. So that Infestation Pit kind of just kills off 2 Mutas. And a Warp Prism does come, traps that 1 Queen, takes it out, and the Spire is under siege, but Roaches are going to be coming to deal with this. That 1 Zealot morphing in does not know what he's getting himself into, but that Spire, so close, that Zealot trying to go in, but oh my god, that was a lot closer than I thought. Wow. If that got killed, that would have been big. Overseer is morphing. WhiteRa does see the Spire, but he also sees the Infestation Pit that was next to the Spire. So WhiteRa's probably thinking, okay, what's going on? Maybe that's just for Corruptors, but TLO is getting a lot of Mutas out. Also taking his 4th base now as the Mutas do pop to give him map control. And Mutas on Tal'Darim Altar, even though the bases are kind of in a triangle formation, they're better than on Cloud Kingdom, because on Tal'Darim Altar, you have the 3rd base that you can pop up into the main. You can't, I don't think you can blink this. And the mineral lines are within 1 screen, so it's very easy to harass both the 3rd and the main. Additionally, you got all this area back here where Stalkers can't really go. And then immediately, you got the mineral line. So it's very easy to swoop in and swoop out with your Mutas. Again, an Immortal drop on the Spire. And the Spire does go down. TLO manages to lose the Spire to WhiteRa's Immortal drop. Very effective Immortal. Immortal is like a Marauder to buildings. They take him out very quickly, so that's why WhiteRa did the Immortal drop on that Spire. Knew it was almost dead. He's like, okay, well, Immortal will take that out in a few shots. So, going to be dropping it and finish off the Spire. We do have a Hive morphing in for TLO now, and does have plenty of Mutas. Well, not plenty. Let's see how many Mutas he has. Only 11. And where are all the other 3? There's a few Mutas missing in my group. Don't know where they are. Oh well, Muta's going to be coming into this 3rd base. Won't be able to do any damage. Not going to continue on into the main. Into the main, he didn't have any protection. So TLO could have done damage there. And And he is going to be swooping into that main. Still has a few mutas in another group. He's got 8 mutas in this one area. There's 11 out, so 3 mutas somewhere alone. And the Stalker's here now. And I'm not sure if they were there before, but they are there now to protect against if they swoop into that main base. So these mutas are a little bit trapped. Where are the 3 mutas at? There's 3 mutas I just cannot find. And that is getting rather frustrating. Had another Spire out, got another one up. He is going for a greater Spire as soon as the high finishes, I think. Or relatively shortly after the high finishes. So that Spire going to be coming out, getting Corruptors out. So he can go up into Broodlords, getting another base all the way up here. Much like he's playing with mass mutas, but not going mass mutas because his Spire did get sniped and couldn't keep that count up. Spine Coal is being produced at this one base to protect it against any type of Zealot or Immortal drops, which we have seen from WhiteRa. WhiteRa's upgrades are looking at 111. That's relatively odd. TLO has no upgrades on his air, and his ground is... Where is his ground? Okay, right here. Relatively small force, 0-0 on Lings, 1-0 on Roaches. Mutas look like they want to hop back in. Plenty of Stalkers still just winning here. Do have Blink. Cannon going up now. And this time the probe did not trap himself like he did on one of those maps. And there we go. 3 mutas. Found you. And, well, the cannons do deny them. They can't really do anything. Few Stalkers are blinking in. Now TLO trying to bring these mutas off. They do get caught. And he's only down to 6 mutas. Not doing any damage again with these mutas. WhiteRa doing very well at defending against any muta play. Now the muta's flying over the cannons. And just going to be trying to get on out. And the Stalkers do catch them. Another blink does go up. 3 mutas, I believe, fall due to that blink. Yes, 3 mutas did fall. Do have Broodlords coming out. Maybe just in time. It's going to be really close as WhiteRa coming in with a lot of Stalkers, Colossus, and this Immortal. And there are 2 or 3 Infestors out. Blink getting a good concave immediately. Plenty of Spine Coal is here. Going to come down to the Fungal Ghost. That Infestor walks through a force field. And the Stalkers do blink, going to target down the Morphing Broodlords. That is a questionable call. I think I would have rather got the Infestors out. And the Stalkers do go just blink on, killing all the Spines. And it's looking very grim for TLO as this last Broodlord does fall. No more Broods in the sky. Does have 3 mutas, but those mutas have not been effective. All these Colossus alive. There are 7 Corruptors being built. But still plenty of Stalkers out from WhiteRa. TLO, though, still ahead in the supply. He is at 74 drones. But WhiteRa just has the counter to any Zerg grounder. I mean, with these Immortal, Stalkers, Sentries, and Colossus. Greater Spire is going to be falling. Ping going down, nothing there. And TLO does throw the GG. And back here, I just want to point out, I did say it was kind of questionable that he targeted the Broodlords. And what I meant by that is, like, right here, this one, I think, was getting targeted. Maybe it just completed. No, I think it died. So, when you attack a unit that's morphing, if you do 199 damage out of the 200, and then the morph completes, they go back to full life, and all those damage volleys were wasted. So that's what I was saying. Maybe better just to kill off all the Infestors. But maybe he saw... Let's see the Infestor energy. They don't really have that much. So maybe that's why he didn't seize the energy on the Infestors. Like, okay, well, your energy's used up. So when he's attacking those cocoons, we have 114, 92, 113. So he's still got 3 Fungal Growths. But WhiteRa's not really concerned about that. Just killing the Broodlords. Maybe this is one of those things that he just hates so much, and he's like, okay, I gotta take them out. But those Fungals do quite a bit of damage, but just not enough, and that is the game. WhiteRa taking this 2-3 will be going into game number 6 relatively shortly.